And then I'm gonna move item, I hate to do that to all these people, make them wait, but you think that's okay? I hate to make all those people wait with Michael.
I think that's fine.
It'll be fast.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
I don't think, I think that's fine. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it's only 5, so I think
Yeah, we're good.
yeah.
Everybody ready? Good evening. I'd like to call the regularly scheduled board meeting of the Waterloo Community Schools Board of Education to order and ask that you join me in a moment of silence. Thank you, and will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I love it when we have an audience here tonight to say all that. That makes me smile. So, India will now read our mission statement.
Our mission statement for the Waterloo Community School District: the Waterloo Schools community commits to a comprehensive system of education and support to ensure that each and every student will graduate prepared for college, career, and citizenship, as evidenced by continuing education, pursuing a career path, and contributing to our community.
Thanks, India.
Welcome.
The first item on our agenda then this evening is item A, and this is the public hearing for the sale or disposal of real property. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lindeman, perhaps to say a quick word about this piece of property, and then we will open I'm going to open the hearing in a minute. I'm going to let her give a little background. Is that okay? Or no?
You should open it before we have any
Okay.
discussion or talk about it.
So I will declare the hearing open. I will change my mind. I will declare the hearing open, and then I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent before I ask if anyone here wishes to comment on this item A. Thank you.
Okay. This is concerning the house at Orange, near Orange Elementary. And in a past board meeting, we had asked the board to make a decision about whether we could demolish the building, and they voted in a affirmative to approve that. And so as that was moving forward, when the company came forward to apply for the permission to demolish the home, we found out that it actually had, unknown to us, was on a historical landmark site. So, it had been registered in the registry. So at that point in time, the permission to demolish the home had been denied. And so in working with the city of Waterloo, it is still our preference as a district to move forward in having that home not be there, and whatever avenue we need to do to do that, that's what the board is going to be moving forward with. So in working with the city and collaborating with them, the recommendation was that we attempt to find a buyer for the home to move the home to another location. And so it would be our preference to not have the home be there. And so in working with the city, I actually have a letter from Noel Anderson, who is the Community Planning and Development Director for the City of Waterloo. And the City of Waterloo is very aware of the potential home housing project around the area of Orange. And so once we know whether the house is going to either be demolished or be relocated, our preference would be to preserve it if we can find somebody who would want that. So we will be looking at that tonight. The vote is to put it for sale and see if anybody would like to purchase. So if anybody out in our audience is looking for a home, there is now one. There could be one for sale near Orange Elementary, and it is on the National Registry. So we will look to sell it instead of demolish it, and see if we can find a buyer to move the home.
Thank you for that background. I
Yes.
appreciate it. So is there anyone here this evening who wishes to address the board on that sale or that property? All right, then seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Thank you.
I have a question for Jane.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. What happens
Right in the
then
middle.
if
we do not get any buyers.
Sure. So, in working with the city, what they have recommended is that we would try to go forward with the sale of the home, and if there are no buyers for it, and we can't determine that anybody wants to relocate that home to another place, then we would do the same application again to have it be demolished. So that's how we would start the process. But before we do that, we would look to see if we can find anybody who is interested in saving the home and moving it to a different location.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm sorry, if you would like to address the board, you need to come forward and do that, please, at the microphone and state your name and address.
Come on up, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
Push the little button.
There should be a little, says
it
push,
says press here or push.
and then the little green light
Oh,
comes on.
there you go.
There you go.
Buzz Anderson,
Now we've got you.
731 Prospect Boulevard, Waterloo. I came in the wrong door, but
You're fine. You're okay.
just wondered what the timing was on this if you don't have buyer potential out here. What is your timing on when it could possibly go up for demolition? And if you do that, are you going to get bids? And if you get a bid, could the cost of demolition be passed on to a potential buyer a little less than the demolition cost, where that person could receive those funds and then they could move it? Because a buyer's going to have to move the house. It's
Sure,
not like
right,
buying a house
Right.
and moving in. You've got to move it, and it's a very expensive thing to move.
Sure,
So,
yeah. Those are all very fair questions, and I would actually defer to Mr. Coughlin, who is our Chief Financial Officer. We have had conversations with that, and I don't think we would be able to answer that question right now. But how does that that conversation go and those negotiations go with the
It would
prospective
have
buyer?
to be with, so the question is, we already have somebody that has submitted a bid to demo the house.
Correct.
To pass that on to the buyer, it's the bidder's money.
Right.
So to be able to have that conversation would be between the district and the bidder.
And the bidder.
The demo bidder, to see if that would be something they would even be interested in entertaining. So it would be kind of a new page in the discussion.
Thank you. And certainly, Mr. Anderson, I know that Dr. Lehman and myself would be willing to, if we need to set up a meeting further to clarify some things, et cetera, we can always do that going forward.
And as far as the timeline, you had asked that question too. I believe, I don't want to speak on behalf of the board because they are their own decision-making group, but I think it is our preference to move forward at the quickest pace that we can. We've already had it up for the demolishing bids, and so we're looking at that right now. So I don't know, Mr. Coughlin, what is the protocol for how long we would be receiving bids? A few weeks? Okay. No, for
the
sale,
sale.
to see if anybody would like to purchase it. If we
For the sale, it needs to be a reasonable time. To
2-3 weeks
post it
probably.
and
Yeah.
give, and I'm thinking a couple of weeks to 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say 2 to 3 weeks would be a fair amount to have it for sale.
And listed. And we will certainly publish that and put notices out to the public on that.
Right.
So,
But, so, just for clarification, so the holdup before it was because of the historical value of the preservation of the house was paramount, okay?
Right.
So then, now we are offering it to be sold as is, but moved.
Correct.
And if that does not go through, then how do we pass the barrier of the historical preservation involvement?
Right. You can apply again to the to have it for a permit to have it demolished at that point in time, which would be our intention to do that. And so this is really a good faith effort on our part to see if we can find somebody who would like to move the building and relocate it to preserve the historical significance of the home itself. So it's a good faith step on the part of the school boards to see if we can seek a bidder who would like to purchase the home. And any negotiations on the cost would really be up to the district to look at that. So, you know, when Mr. Coughlin was mentioning, I think the question was, would we be willing to negotiate the price? Because we're already committing, the board was already committing to spend something to demolish it. So if there would be some negotiation, so that would be between if somebody wants to bid on the house, that would be a conversation that we could have with that person.
And is asbestos an issue at all?
The asbestos has already been removed.
The abatement's already happened. Yep. Okay, anything further? All right, then I will entertain a motion to close the hearing, the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Jesse, and a second. Second. And all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. The hearing is closed. That takes us then to item B, which is on page 3, and this is a second public hearing this evening, and this is the public hearing for the asbestos removal project at Longfellow Elementary, and I would declare that this public hearing is open. And for those of you who, just a little background, our meeting in December, we did our initial talk about this. We are working to take down the Longfellow building. This is the next step in that process to have the asbestos removed. And so we are looking, later on in the agenda, we will be looking to take this project out for bid. And this is the public hearing to discuss that project. So, and as we discussed in December, the neighborhood has waited a long time for that building to come down. So we are quite anxious to move forward on this. So does anyone wish to address the board this evening on the Longfellow project? All right, then seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the asbestos removal project at Longfellow Elementary.
So
So-
moved.
Thanks, you guys. And a second? Astor, you got it. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sue. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. Motion carried. The next item on our agenda is actually a new partnership recognition, and we're going to just hold that for a minute because we are waiting for our partner to be here this evening. So we're going to put a comma in that, and we're going to come back to it. So we'll move on then to item D, which is our board celebration this evening. And I just want to, we've got some great people out here in the audience, so I just want to introduce, I believe Tara is going to come forward and introduce our young folks that are here from Hoover, our FTC group. FLL, sorry, pardon me. First Lego League, not robotics, pardon me, guys.
As we know, Lego League is alive and well across our district with some great success. Our teams have advanced, many of them on to higher level competitions, and it takes a lot of volunteers to make this happen. So I'd like to invite up Stacy Mills, one of the coaches, and our district STEM coordinator, if she's here. Is Anjali here? Okay, we'll have Stacy come up and tell us about this Hoover Robo Duckies team who will be our guest tonight.
Thank you, Tara. Can I have our mentors stand up as well? Todd and Nasri. So, along with Tamara Willis, I'm Stacy Mills. Along with Tamara Willis, we are the coaching and mentoring team for the Hoover Robo Duckies. There are two teams at Hoover, the Bionic Bandits, who also will be going to state. They compete on Saturday. We compete on Sunday names. And then, so I kind of do the overall managing this team, helping with their project. We also have Magda, can you raise your hand, and Aya? We have two family members who help a lot with those two things. And then the robot game, which if you have not seen, please YouTube that. Look up First Lego League Robotics, or the robot. So my husband, Todd Mills, is one of the mentors, and Nasri Jafar is the other. Okay, so kiddos, let's present the project, but can we stand up real quick and have you each just come tell your name real quickly? Just come through the way that you would, and then we'll have you grow up and we'll grab your props, okay? You ready? Okay. Just say your name and then we'll get your stuff. Just tell them your name, yeah?
My name is Alexis Steimel.
Okay. Go this way, go get your stuff.
My name is Nathan Thomas. My name is Sophie Vandersea. My name is Matthew Thomas.
My name's Mason Ryans.
My name is Emmanuel Ramirez.
My name is Lucy Galloway.
My name is Nura Nasri.
The last time we were here with her, she was on a chair, so she's gotten better.
My name is Kevin Fulkerson.
My name's Nathaniel Klein.
And they're going to present to you their project.
You guys come on in through that. Just push that door open right there. That little, yeah. Do you want me to come hold it? Somebody got it? Okay. I have to be able to see your props.
Indeed. So their daughter, Katie, is one of my daughter's best friends. I told the boys, I said, I'm going to call you out. And they were like, Mrs. McNally, don't do that. Okay.
You guys, can we stand up? Is that all right? I can't see what you're doing. Sorry, I don't mean to freak you out. I got a seat.
Here we have a team of international astronauts traveling on a round trip to Mars. Built in a confined space for 3 years. Meet our astronauts and the Mars system we have developed to help with the stress they encounter.
Oh my goodness, Nora, I'm so busy and I'm super hyped and I'm freaking out!
Yeah, can we pull a quick set of duct tape through the wall, please?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. But go.
Captain, I'm so scared.
What if I break a bone? What if I die?
I miss my albino monkey. No, the monkey's proud of me.
Wait, albino monkey?
I love him so much. His name is Albert.
Aww.
I have perfect impression.
Go to your, using Mars in your cabin with the balance unit.
Our project is based on making a video game and virtual reality system for each mood people may have. We know the balance between mind, heart, body, and soul feels best.
Hello, I am the Mental Awareness Relaxation System on Mars.
Oh, good.
Or your EQ radio. I see your feeling effect. Please rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how depressed you feel. 1, 2. Based on your mood, I recommend you watching videos of your family or other powerful things. Hello, Matthew. You are feeling homesick today, so I recommend looking to see some pictures of your albino monkey. Hello, Mason. You are feeling scared today, so I recommend you meditate with some calming music.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Liam. You are feeling happy today, so I recommend you play Goat Simulator for fun. Yay! I love Goat Simulator! Hello, Mason. You are feeling hyper today, so I recommend you play Checkers to calm your brain.
Dziękuję.
Hello, Matt. You are feeling relaxed today, so I recommend you play Fruit Ninja Roller Coaster.
Okay, do it. Okay. You may have been wondering why some of us spoke in different languages, but just like the astronauts, we are virtual reality team. This is what could happen if we use VR in space. If you would like, I'm going to bring around the VR to put it on.
Let them have a second to look too. And you can tell the slideshow's behind them. Just say. So the slideshow part, which they will also be speaking with, the slideshow is presenting behind you. Okay, go ahead, Lexus.
Hello, school board. We are the Robo Duckies from Hoover Middle School. Our project is a mood sensing, virtual reality, and VR system known as Mars. Here's our focus problem. We had one hypothesis originated by asking the research and detailed the disease of all of us.
This idea of using virtual reality or video games in space has never been done. However, we have found many studies showing that virtual reality, our mental health in space is beneficial.
Thank you. Any questions?
And would you like them to stay there if you have questions? Okay, go back.
So have you explored if you had sound with your video?
We haven't explored much with the sound part. We have kind of focused on what we could do with it, how we imagined using the VR with different astronauts based on their emotions. We kind of had to step into their shoes and see what they would feel like in the situation.
Thank you.
So the possibility of adding sound is there. Yeah, cool. Rhonda. Uh-huh. Okay. Cool.
Can I just say how much I love this project? And I'll tell you why. So we've been talking about mindfulness. Have you all heard about mindfulness? And I'm so impressed with you all because each of you spoke about various types of emotions: anxiety, depression, excitement, fear. And a lot of times we don't really talk to our youth about those types of feelings. So I can see this project expanding to something like a quiet room or a meditation room or mindfulness room for those of us who just need maybe 5-10 minutes to be still and listen to ourselves. So you all probably don't have any idea how much you've opened the door to other prospective opportunities in your school. Have you thought about implementing this in some type of space in your building? And I think, I forgot who just said it, but putting yourself in someone else's shoes, that empathy. Who said that? That's called positive regard. And I'm just so proud of you all, and the teachers, just kudos. I could talk a whole lot about this. I won't do that, but just let me let you know how proud I am and impressed with this project. Thank you.
Can I ask you guys a question? How long have you guys been together as a group? Did you start work right when school started? Did you start? Only 3 months? Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, you did all right. You made it all the way to state. So that's this weekend, right? Awesome. Fabulous.
Can
The birds, I love them. Or ducks. Some of them look like cardinals. Kind of.
will you come back and tell us how you did?
Yeah.
And I just want to say one last thing. I don't know if you know it or not, but a lot of the concepts that you talked about in front of all of these adults tonight are some of the introductory psychology things that you'll learn when you're in college or in high school. So how many of you all are thinking about going into psychology? Wow.
Crickets.
Well, you've introduced a lot of us to that tonight, so thank you again.
Okay. Awesome. Yay. And you guys, I just want to also say thanks again to your coaches who are amazing. Stacy, thank you for being here tonight, and
Thank you,
to
guys.
everything, all of you guys, Todd, everybody that comes together and makes this possible for our kiddos. We sure appreciate it. So, all right, you guys.
Get a good night's sleep Saturday night so you're ready to go Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you're at a hotel. Oh.
No swimming.
Right.
Thank you all again. They were really excited. One of the reasons that they wanted to share this with you is to show you that what they're learning in Leader in Me
Yeah.
goes beyond when they are with that time with that teacher, that it goes beyond that with them. So thank you all so much.
Thanks, FLL team. I expect a full report after Sunday. All right. All right, I have been informed that our partnership recognition with West High School is back on the docket. So with that, I will bring Tara Thomas forward. I know Byron Phillips is here.
Our Partners in Ed list continues to grow. Tonight we are adding Hope City Church in a partnership with West High. Hope City has already been partnering with some of our other buildings. I will invite Byron Phillips, a West High administrator and Partner in Ed coordinator for West, to come up and say a few words.
Oh, it just says there's nothing.
Well, I wasn't prepared to talk, but we are very fortunate, and we feel fortunate, and we're thankful for the opportunity. Hope City actually reached out to us and wanted to be a partner, and I know they're partnering, I think, with the school across the street from them, East High, and so we feel very fortunate, and we hope it's a long and fruitful relationship. West High is not going anywhere, and I think Hope City's in pretty good hands, so we're just thankful for the opportunity.
Great. Thank you. Mason, do you want to come forward and say a few words? And you don't have to. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you're here.
It's okay. I talk for a living, so I suppose I can do this. But yeah, our goal, my name is Mason Smith, and I am the youth director at Hope City. I've been there for about a year, but it's pretty easy to catch the vibe and catch the vision of Hope City pretty quick. And our vision is just to see life transformation. We are a church, we are a Christian organization, but much more than that, our goal is to just see life change. Not only in just the local school system, but in every factor of life. And working with the youth specifically, I get a front row seat to see literally the next generation preparing themselves and seeing adults prepare them for the next phase of life and literally creating the world around us. So we're excited to partner with West. We're excited to partner with the local, just Waterloo School District, and just continue to see how it transforms the Cedar Valley. So thank you.
Thank you, Mason. We're excited to have you at West High, and thank you for your time at East as well. And who knows, you might be in 19 buildings by the time we're done.
While they're doing that, I would also say that I want to say it was in December. Pam, was it in December? The church had a Legacy Sunday, and they had gathered some funds that they redistributed to multiple buildings in our district, and I was present to help receive those, as was a representative from each of the buildings that got money. And so they clearly are partners with our district and want to help. So very, very appreciated.
Yes. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you. I feel like we should clap.
Yeah. I'm going to clap.
Do, right? Okay.
All right. The next item on our agenda then is item E. This is another board celebration, and this is for the Hip Hop Literacy Program. And I will bring Tara back to the podium.
Thank you. As all of you know, the Hip Hop Literacy Program had an incredible opportunity to go on the international stage by way of a recent trip to China that was celebrated both locally and internationally. It has launched some of the young people who are part of this program into being international stars of stage, and they have gained an incredible confidence as a result of this international opportunity. It all started with the connection between Dr. Shuai Meacham from the University of Northern Iowa and our own Lamont Muhammad, a homegrown educator and author who helped to take what started as an after-school program and then a summer opportunity, and it culminated now in quite the experience for these young people, along with Miss Cheryl, who accompanied them from Carver. So I'd like to invite all of those here who are representing the hip hop literacy contingent to share about this trip that we know has been something that has been life-changing based on the media circus that has ensued.
Thank you, Tara. You said everything I was going to say, so I'm just going to simply say to the board, the Waterloo Community School Board, and to Dr. Lindeman and your staff, we thank you for the invitation. We appreciate it, you having us here this evening, and we also thank you for the work that you all do on the behalf of education, on behalf of students in education, and on behalf of the community. So thank you. I'm just going to real briefly or quickly introduce a group of students who are here today representing Hip Hop Literacy 319. These students represent a bigger group. Again, we've met the last 2 summers thanks to the Waterloo Community Schools for allowing us to do hip hop literacy via hip hop summer school via Dr. Mulhorn and at that time Dr. McNulty, and by the allowing it through Dr. Lindeman, we've done hip hop literacy the last 2 years in summer. But we have 4 of the students here who actually went on a China trip. So I'm going to introduce these students, and then the other students are students that we continue to work with each Saturday, and we continue to create and come up with content. And after we show a video that kind of details or summarizes what we experienced on the trip, they want to share a few verses out of their notebook, if you don't mind. So right here we actually have Tristan, and you want to tell him, say your name and tell him what school you're from.
My name is Tristan, and I go to Carver.
My name is Nasan, but you can call me Nas, and I go to Cunningham.
My name is Kyle, and I go to Cunningham.
My name is Elijah. I go to East.
My name is Tyreek, and I go to Carver.
My name is Darren, and I go to Carver.
So Darian, Nas, Kyle, and Elijah actually accompanied us on a trip to China. And then Tristan, Tyreek, and who else was it that we had? That's it. Yeah, they were actually just part of our program. And then again, you have Miss Cheryl here who helps us. So we want to get to I want to show you this video here. So I'm going to find where I can pull it up here. So I believe it'll be playing back here, right? Okay.
And we have it
You
on
have
our
it live?
screens too, so we're watching
You
it
can
on our
see it? Okay.
screens. Yeah, no, we're
All right,
watching
here we go.
it.
All right.
Click the button. Did you see it? Push the little blue button. Green. Toggle it.
Oh. Sorry, I got to start it. You need to get the whole introduction. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming all the way from the United States of America, the Lou Kids.
The Lou Kids.
Starting from the bottom, now we worldwide. Starting from the bottom, now we worldwide. All around the world, going all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. Starting from the bottom, now we worldwide. Starting from the bottom, now we worldwide. All around the world, going all around the world. All around the world.
Thank you. I wanted to quickly acknowledge some of the parents who are here, because during the after school program, these parents, they would come and pick their students up after school. They did not have to do that, but they wanted their students or children to be a part of hip hop literacy, so they always made sure. So Naisha, we want to recognize her, and Ebony and Jalen here as well. And Ms. Keeker was here, but she left. But again, we want to have them come up and just share some of the content from their notebook. We definitely, hip hop has been something that has inspired youth like myself. Oh, I'm not a youth anymore because I'll be 40 here coming up in March. But anyway, it inspired students, it inspired youth like myself who didn't have a traditional family upbringing to. It taught us. It inspired us to reach for a notebook. It inspired us to pick up a dictionary at the source. It inspired us to look for rhyming patterns. It inspired us to look for the best wordplay to express our narrative through this genre. And so these students have been following that same tradition. In hip hop literacy, again, hip hop, one of the teachers within hip hop, who is KRS-One, said rap is something that you do and hip hop is something that you live. And when Dr. Meacham started this hip hop literacy, it was more so to inform the students of this art form in which they all gravitated to. And so we have seen an increase in these students picking up dictionary, reaching for literary elements, figurative language, different things like that. And now we are in conversations with our Dear Waterloo Community School District to tie this interest into learning objectives that align with our district here. So I'm gonna call up Elijah, and he's gonna share a little content here for you.
It's God's plan, so I know that I can. Be great, that's straight, and I won't hesitate. Educate, to elevate your mind. All through my lyrics, success I will find. SUCCESS, and I work so hard, feel like I am possessed. Elijah Johnson, you know I am the best, so all you other rappers just put it to a rest.
Going across the world to show them what I do. Super fly and cool. How about you? Yo, rapping for the people, yeah, that's what I do. I started from the bottom, now I'm all the way to the top. Ooh, I would never ever drop. I'm moving fast like a shooting star. Can nobody catch me? All you haters can sit down and watch me. Introverts ain't gonna stop me. Coming from Waterloo, this is what we like to do. Everyone has a dream, every life has a theme. I wanna see all the children grow up to be something. I have a dream and I'ma make it happen. Like Dr. King give his speeches, but I'm rapping. Stop all the violence, there's no reason for it. Israeli madness is just cause of sadness. Blast it. I have faith the whole world will come together to be a better place.
Coming out the dome, sending you, yeah, I got a new flow, yeah, I'm about to blow, you already know, I'm putting, so I'm going worldwide, there's a lot of things to do, CEO of rapping or entertaining you, started from Waterloo, it's about to be a breakthrough, we are gonna be a statue of Iowa, yeah, we was stirring up, now we found the formula.
What up, world? It's my Fry, the right guy at the right time. I love to make raps. People ask why. I'm finna show them why, cause I'm going worldwide. Coming back to Waterloo with my mind expanded. I'll be a different person once the plane is landed.
I'm flying higher than a kite. You know my dreams are blasting light. All this violence put to rest. No more hating, no more mess. I'm so sick of all this hating, cause nobody concentrating. Almost right. We don't need to fight. All of our dreams can come to light. It was dark and now it's like we ignite our dreams and we take flight. Like a McKay, I use my voice. I'm preaching out cause we got a choice. Nobody can say what we gotta be. Spread the message of equality. All is love and no hate. We love Waterloo cause it's all great.
I just want to stress that they write these lyrics themselves too. So yeah.
That is homegrown right there.
So I mean, at this time, if there's any questions that you have for myself or you have for the students, please feel free. Otherwise, thank you.
I know we have some questions.
Okay.
So,
I'll try to get
who's going first?
I just had a quick question for the students. Could you just share maybe one memorable moment that you could can tell us from your trip? Yeah.
We had a party in the hotel hallway.
All right.
When it was after this other performance, and then all of the performance groups got together, and then we all had this big circle, and everybody got to dance in it.
My favorite was our last performance that we did on a walkway at the West Lake.
One of my favorite moments, and I'm just being honest with this one, seeing all the toys.
You could be honest. That's great. You guys were like famous when you were there. I was watching your stuff on Twitter, and you guys had people like rush the stage to get your signature. Did you not? Yeah. Don't be shy. Say yeah. I mean, take that. That's awesome. I felt like you guys were, yeah. It was awesome.
And
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say how proud, impressed, and inspired I am. I've never been to China, so I'm hoping to follow in you all's footsteps. But let me ask, how many of you all know how to say hello or goodbye in a new language that you learned?
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao means hi. I don't know how to say goodbye though.
Small fry.
Sheshe means thank you.
Thank you.
And did you guys exchange addresses, and have you been communicating with any of the other performers and young people that you met?
Your Instas, that's all good. Great.
So does this inspire you to travel again outside the country since you have your passports? Okay, good.
So what was the?
Ooh.
Oh.
Nice.
So what's the most amazing thing you learned about when you're traveling outside of the country? I mean, what did you bring back and think I really didn't realize that until I went somewhere?
Can you step up to there you go. Step up that way, our viewers can hear too.
Perfect.
I brought back some snacks, and then it's like this. It's like Pringles, but it's better than our Pringles. And then I brought back like a big bag of chips, and then I brought back some quarters. Yeah, I brought back some quarters.
Can we ask you, stay up there just a moment. So I think what he was wondering, as well as the snacks that you brought back, were there any customs or cultures that you learned that you didn't know? Something that you thought, oh wow, they do that differently.
The toilets.
Okay.
No, cause like when we was in the public restroom, so it was like we walked in, and then it's like the toilet was embedded in the floor, so like they had to squat down. It was weird, so I didn't use it.
You get an honest answer, so.
That's good.
I have a statement and a
Yeah,
question,
go
I
ahead.
guess. So I grew up in the hip hop era, so I listened to lyrics, and you guys were, when you're spitting your rhymes, is how we call it. You guys were dropping a lot of knowledge and saying some important things, and you incorporated our community in there as well. So if you had one positive thing to say, and I'm not sure if you did or not when you came back to your schools or your community, what would be one of the positive things that you would say to some of your classmates regarding our community that you learned or seen from other places. Comparisons, so, or just something positive that you can give to your classmates or
don't never give up, because if you give up, you will never make it to having your real dreams. So never give up. Keep thinking what you want to be, and then just after you had a hold of it, grasp it with all your might, and have people around you that will actually help you, but not take you down.
One positive thing that you could put out into the community is that you have a choice in whether you can say something or not and hold your speech back. And everybody wants to be heard, but not everybody is heard. And I feel like us putting our music out there, I mean, it could encourage people to maybe get their voice out there and tell people what they know.
Everybody is equal, no matter of gender or race.
We're asking hard questions, you guys. I'm sorry. So, thank you for being here tonight. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Take a bow. We appreciate it.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks, you guys.
Oh, we're gonna lose our audience.
I know. There's all our fun. I know. Michelle's coming. All right. So the next item on our agenda is item F, and this is on page 8. And this is a donation from the Waterloo Community Foundation and the Laurel Trust. And the recommended motion is that the Board of Education accepts and acknowledges with gratitude the donation from the Waterloo Community Foundation Laurel Trust in the amount of $13,632.55 to Bunger Middle School, Cunningham School for Excellence, Kittrell Elementary, and Highland Elementary as outlined. Can I get that motion on the table, please? Thank you. And a second, thank you, Aster. And discussion on the 13,000 amount. Yes.
This is an exciting donation, and a familiar face and voice will come up to talk about it. I'd like to invite Michelle T. Meyer.
Thank you, Tara. We are glad to be here. Not probably quite as comical as some of the things that we've seen are exciting, but we know that through these grants we'll be seeing some great things. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about a partnership that we share with 4 of your schools in Waterloo, and that is around the love of reading and learning, and that's what Laurel stands for. And so we put out grants to your organization, or to all your schools, asking them for some really good ideas from teachers about what they do to impart that love of reading and learning. And we really got some great proposals. We were looking for opportunities that will deepen, inspire, and increase the love of reading and learning of children and youth in our public and private schools in Waterloo. Project ideas were solicited from your classroom teachers this past fall, and our Laurel trustees selected 9 projects, with 6 of those projects right here in the Waterloo schools, and that's why I wanted to come here and highlight those. As in your board agenda, you can see the amounts that were awarded. We are grateful to all the professional teachers and educators that have given their time and imagination to propose some projects that we feel really are making a difference in your schools. The responses we receive speak highly of the professionals that you have working in your schools who teach our children throughout the Cedar Valley. The Laurel Trust advisors were impressed by the range of innovative ideas for these projects, all aimed at inspiring and increasing the love of reading and learning of our very youngest readers. For example, at Highland, one project involves students in Iowa sharing their love of reading with students in another country by creating audiobooks to share with kids their same age who are just now learning the English language. Cool. In Kittrell, we had a project that will demonstrate the use of technology to tailor reading matter to individual reading levels so that all children can participate in discussion about something the whole class is reading. And just as another example, at Cunningham, we had a teacher observe very alertly that her kindergarten students like to reread books individually after they first enjoyed having read that book aloud to their class. The project will make enough copies available so more children can circle back to their old favorites more quickly. Innovative examples like this projects give the Laurel Trust Fund an opportunity to learn what stimulates young readers, and hopefully we will learn from them as they learn from us. And so we're really happy to be a part of this. The Laurel Trust Fund was established in 2017 with the Waterloo Community Foundation, and we are established to do good things in our community through philanthropy. And this is a great example of how we are working with young readers in your school district, and we wanted you to know about that. This is a private fund that was established, and certainly anybody that is interested in assisting young kids learn to love to read through examples like this, we would love to talk to them. So with that, I'd be very willing to answer any questions that you might have. And I also have a check, even though Mr. Michael has already received the check as a just a signature of our appreciation to working with your teachers.
And I would like to hop in here too. I had met with the private donors who established the Laurel Trust. And one of the questions that they asked, and it was just such a fascinating question, I want you to think about this for yourself. The question was, how did you come to love to read? How did you learn to love to read? So just think about that for a moment. And I think when we were sitting around the table talking with the trust advisors about this, everybody had their own story. And I know Pam had just shared with me that she reads a lot, and she said that she counts her books, and she read 51 books in the year of 2018. So she reads a lot. And so the question is, how did you learn to love to read? And so the people who started this trust were thinking about that question, and they said, we want everyone to have that love. And I'm looking down at India, who is our an amazing rep from the Waterloo Public Library. And so I'm actually gonna ask you that question. India, how did you learn to love to read?
I will say, I think I found some old comic books, Mad Magazine. And it's so funny because I know there are a lot of teachers kind of discourage kids about reading comic books, but it was like, even my daughter, who was like, I work at the library, you gotta love to read. Okay, here, comic book. And now she is so passionate about books because of comic books. And it was kind of my road, like Mad Magazine was the start for me.
Yeah. Everyone had their story when we went around the table, and the interesting part was that everybody's story commenced at a different time in their life. Some people, it was when they were 5 years old. For me, it was when I was a junior in high school. So we all come to love reading at different times, and the people who established this really know that. And so they believe that everything really starts with being able to read and enjoying reading because you love to read, or reading to learn, either way. And so we are so appreciative of this because it comes with the money is donated probably with the most passion that I've ever seen any people have for helping students read. And so I can't accept it. The board will have to do that, but I would recommend that you accept the money with the most gratitude for people who really believe that kids need to learn to love to read. So thank you, Michelle, for representing that, and we will make sure that we give our gratitude to the private donors and to the advisors, because it's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited that you explained. Now, of course, we've talked about it, but what Laurel meant. I even asked Pam. I wanted to make sure I pronounced it right. And then I was like, oh, love of reading and learning. Yes, now I get it. So wonderful.
Well, these projects will be happening this semester. They're actually starting now. So hopefully we'll be able to come back to the board and bring you some specific examples and show you the kinds of things that kids are doing in the classroom to advance their love of reading and learning. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
If you could come in, Michelle, would you come in here? Could we just step down and take a picture with that? That would just be a fun.
Yep.
I don't know. Do you guys? Okay. Well, anyone who is willing to be in India, for sure, you have to come down. And Pam, our other reader, you have to come down too. So
Can we just, wanna just stand, can we just stand behind the dais and?
Well, I guess you would. Oh, should we vote first or not? Do you need to vote before?
We can vote. Yeah, you can. We can do that when we come back down.
Okay.
We'll take the picture. Then we'll, come on. Yeah, right up high. Just get in the front of Shanley's thing, so. And the rest of you, if you wanna, I was gonna make Michelle just stand in front of the thing. Okay. Hop behind me.
Yeah.
We'll just hop. Really? Oh, he's got it. Okay, oh, good. Perfect. I'll just sit.
Come in here.
Yes. All right, then without further ado, all those in favor of accepting the donation from the Community Foundation and the Laurel Trust, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye, motion carried. Thank you again, Michelle. We're very grateful for that. The next item on our agenda then is information from individuals and delegations, and we've kind of lost most of our audience this evening, so I'm guessing that no one is here to address the board, but if anyone is, I'd ask them to come forward. All right, well then, seeing none, before we move to the consent agenda, I would like to ask our board if you would humor me and allow me to move item N, which is on page 47. This is the funding for the 2019-20 at-risk education programs. If I can move that ahead of the consent agenda this evening. Is that all right with everyone? All right, so we will move then to item N, and then we'll come back and take care of the consent agenda. And the recommended motion there is the Board of Education authorize the district's administration to submit a request to the School Budget Review Committee, or SBRC, in the amount of $3,629,593 for modified supplemental amount, MSA, for the purpose of funding district at-risk programming.
So moved.
Thank you, Sue. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jesse. Now y'all see where I got the million. I knew I knew we had a million in here tonight. I just got ahead of myself. So with that, I will turn it over to Michael Coughlin.
First of all, I want to take the blame for this because I asked for the disruption in the agenda. Some last-minute circumstances came up that I need to take care of, so I asked if we could move this up. So thank you. The at-risk program, we're talking about mainly the funding that has funded Expo and credit recovery. And if you look on page 47, you see a list of all of the programs that we have funded for many years through our at-risk funding. So where this money comes from is it is a local decision by the school board to say that 5% of our basic budget, our enrollment times the state cost per pupil, we can take 5% of that above and use it for at-risk. But when you do that, it's all property tax. It's not shared by state aid. But you can see how many programs have been supported by this money for many years. And we have gone through several phases of this in the last 4 or 5 years that the state was getting, the best word I can think of is strict, that we would have to apply and outline all of our programs, tell them how we were going to spend the money, and get their approval of who all the teachers were, everything involved before they would approve this money to be used. Well, because of the legislative action a year ago that basically said the district gets to spend their money the way that they choose, and it's up to local control, not by always the input of the DE. Not that anything that they did was incorrect, but it just gave the ability for the board to shape that money the way that they chose. What we always had to do in the past was by this date, we would have to set the whole budget for 1920, almost 9 months before the programs even started. So it was difficult to do that. So what the legislature said was, we're going to give that decision-making timing to the districts. All you need to do tonight at this time is approve that you are going to apply for that money, that you're going to approve that money to be used for at-risk, and that all of the details of how it will be used will come later as the administration determines if they're going to be used for the same programs or any variations thereof. So tonight, that's the motion of this funding for at-risk, is that it's 5% of our base budget, so it's 3.6 million, and then we have to match another 25% out of our regular funds. So altogether, that comes to 4.8 million, a little more than that, and it's very similar to the last couple of years, because our enrollment has stayed about the same, and funding hasn't gone up very much, so it's almost identical to last year's number. So that is the action for tonight, for the board to approve to raise that money for our at-risk programs.
And Michael, these are just the amounts that are listed in our board agenda. Are these based on last year's figures?
These are the current
These are the
year.
current figures.
These are the current
Okay.
programs and the current budgets.
Okay.
For them, just to give you an idea of how we have been spending that money.
Great.
It has been spent pretty close to this breakdown for several years, these programs.
Okay.
You're familiar with all of these programs,
Yes.
looking down the list, but I didn't want to just list the programs and wonder how much are we spending on each one of those. But that is yet to be decided for 1920.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the breakdown. It's nice to just not see it lumped in that 3 million figure. To see how we got there is important. So.
And as I understand it from talking to finance people at the state, that even though there's not the oversight right now in giving your budget to the state, there still will be oversight. And so when the auditors look at it, we will have to have a plan for exactly how that money will be used. And then the auditors will look at that and match that up. So there still is a checks and balance. It is just not that the state is not approving it 6 months in advance. Right. So the money will still have to be accounted for and used as you plan.
And just for clarification, we don't have the Crossroads program anymore, right?
True, that started
Right.
last year, but then didn't continue this year, so.
So those funds would all go Grad Connect, the 85,000.
Or mix into some of the others.
Right.
Okay.
The summer school program, how many schools were involved for that amount?
Do you know that exactly?
don't
I'm not
know that.
exactly sure, because we had, if you remember, we actually received a couple of other grants, and so this was for the overage, and so the question is easier to answer if you ask how many schools had summer school. If you want to know exactly which ones were funded with that, that's a little trickier. I'd have to look up the recipe to see, because we had additional. It costs more than that to run summer school, because we had summer school